You looked at your phone, 3:33, again, third time today. Then a message arrives from someone you were thinking about 5 minutes ago. Later, at the coffee shop, you hear a stranger say the exact phrase that's been running through your mind all week. You brush it off. Coincidence, right? But your chest feels different. Lighter. Like something invisible just clicked into place. Here's what's really happening. Probability waves collapsing around you. The quantum field responding to a frequency shift you didn't even notice you made. Your body knows before your brain catches up. Chest expands, breath deepens, forehead softens. That's alignment. When it contracts, breath shortens, jaw clenches, that's the old loop pulling you back. But what if I told you these aren't random signs? What if they're confirmation that you've already shifted dimensions, and reality is reorganizing to match your new frequency? The synchronicity, the timing, the people suddenly appearing in your path. They're not coming to you. You move to where they already were. Most people try to change their life by changing their appearance. New wardrobe, new city, new habits, surface stuff. But here's the truth. Changing your frequency changes the structure. And your body reads it first. Before your thoughts, before your logic, before you even understand what's shifted. The environment responds when there's coherence between what you feel, what you think, and what you do. Your brain's stuck in a loop. It craves novelty for the dopamine hit, but it clings to the familiar for safety. So you end up running the same internal script. Different day, same frequency, same results. The quantum field doesn't care about your goals. It responds to the signal you're emitting right now, in this breath, in this choice. In the next 20 minutes, you'll learn how conscious pauses and micro-decisions displace your reality route, how to recognize when the universe confirms you've locked into a new dimension, and most importantly, how to read the body signals and environmental feedback that most people miss. This isn't theory. It's a field manual for living in coherence and watching synchronicity become your new normal. You're riding the same train every single day, same track, same view, same destination. That's what a loop feels like. Your body knows the path before your mind even wakes up. You think you're choosing, but the quantum field reads the frequency you've been broadcasting for months, maybe years. And it keeps delivering the matching reality. Here's what most people miss. The loop isn't your enemy. It's feedback. Your nervous system learned to predict safety by repeating what worked yesterday. The problem? Yesterday's pattern keeps you in yesterday's dimension. When you feel anxious at 6 p.m. and reach for your phone, that's not random. It's the loop protecting you from sitting with the unknown. I'll tell you something personal. Every afternoon around 4, I'd feel this weight in my chest. Anxiety would rise, and I'd open the same app without thinking. One Tuesday, I just stopped, watched the urge like a scientist watching a wave, breathed for 5 seconds, didn't open it. That night, a text came through, an invitation I would have missed if I'd been scrolling. The synchronicity wasn't magic, it was coherence breaking the pattern. The observer changes everything. When you see the loop, you step outside the train. You're no longer the passenger. You're standing on the platform, watching the tracks. And from there, you realize there are other trains, other frequencies, other timelines running parallel to this one. The act of observation creates a gap, a choice point where the quantum field reorganizes around your new state. Try this for 24 hours. Pick one trigger. Maybe it's your phone buzzing. Maybe it's your partner's tone. When it happens, don't react. See it. Pause. 3 breaths. Then choose. Don't force a different action. Just notice the space between stimulus and response. That space? That's where dimensions shift. That's where the loop loses its power and you reclaim the frequency you're broadcasting. What happens in that gap is more powerful than anything you've been told about manifestation. In 2 minutes, I'll show you how to expand it into a laboratory where timelines bend. That pause you just practiced? It's not passive, it's a laboratory. The gap between what happens and how you respond is where timelines fork. Most people live on autopilot. Stimulus hits, reaction fires, reality confirms the loop. But when you insert 5 seconds of nothing, the quantum field has to reorganize. It can't predict you anymore. And what it can't predict, it has to rebuild. Think of your GPS when you miss a turn. It doesn't panic. It recalculates. The gap is your recalculate button. You don't need a monastery or a month-long retreat. You need micro-adjustments. Sleep 30 minutes earlier than usual. Sit in a different chair at your favorite cafe. Walk 15 minutes without your phone in your hand. Change the first sentence you say when you wake up. These aren't rituals. They're frequency shifters. Here's what I did once. I'd been taking the same route to a meeting spot for 2 years. One morning, no reason, I turned down a parallel street. Narrow, quiet, never been there. Halfway down, I see someone I hadn't spoken to in 5 years. Someone I'd been thinking about the week before. We talked for 10 minutes. That conversation became the seed of a project that's still running today. Was it luck? No. It was coherence meeting synchronicity because I broke the loop. The gap isn't about doing more. It's about doing differently. You're not adding tasks. You're inserting choice where there was none. 5 seconds of silence before you answer a tough question. A breath before you open the fridge out of boredom. A pause before you say yes to something your body says no to. Each gap trains your nervous system to expect the unexpected, and the quantum field responds to that expectation. Start small. Tomorrow morning, change one thing in your routine. Just one. Brush your teeth with the other hand. Drink your coffee standing instead of sitting. Say thank you out loud to the air before you check your messages. Watch what shifts in the next 48 hours. You're not trying to force a miracle. You're creating space for the frequency to reorganize. And once it does, the reality follows. But here's the part no one talks about. Right before the shift locks in, everything feels like it's falling apart. What I'm about to show you will make sense of the chaos you might be feeling right now. Right before water boils, it looks chaotic. Bubbles forming, breaking, pressure building. If you didn't know physics, you'd think something's going wrong. But that turbulence? It's transition. It's the system reorganizing at a molecular level before it shifts state completely. You're the same. When you start breaking loops and living in the gap, reality compresses before it expands. Your sleep might get lighter for a few days. Emotions hit harder, but pass faster. You crave silence even though you used to fear it. Old friends feel distant without conflict. Conversations feel shallow when they used to comfort you. This isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign the frequency is recalibrating. The quantum field is testing your coherence. Can you hold the new signal even when the external hasn't caught up yet? I'll tell you what happened to me. The week before my biggest shift, everything seemed to freeze. Deals stalled. People stopped responding. I felt this tension in my chest like I was waiting for something I couldn't name. I kept my breathing protocol. 5 minutes every morning, no exceptions. On day 3, the pressure broke. 2 conversations opened that same afternoon. Both led exactly where I'd been visualizing. The compression wasn't a block. It was recalibration. Here's the mistake most people make. They confuse transition discomfort with a sign to quit. The ego reads turbulence as danger and pulls you back into the old loop where things felt predictable. But if you pause and breathe through it, you'll notice something underneath the chaos. Expansion, a quiet knowing, your body adjusting to a higher frequency. The synchronicity isn't gone and it's loading. Watch for these markers, rapid emotional shifts that don't stick, a need to be alone even if you're social, small things irritating you that never did before, physical restlessness with no clear cause. Don't medicate it, don't numb it, observe it, breathe through it. Let the system recalibrate. The dimension you're moving into requires a different nervous system than the one you're leaving. The gap between the two? That's compression. When the field confirms you've landed, everything suddenly flows with less effort. The people, the timing, the resources, they align without force. But first, you have to trust the turbulence. Hold your frequency even when nothing seems to be moving. Because on the other side of that pressure, coherence becomes your default. Imagine 2 radios. One's perfectly tuned. Clear signal, clean sound. The other's half a station off. Static, distortion, noise. That's the difference between coherence and confusion. When your emotion, thought, and action say the same thing, you broadcast a clear frequency. The quantum field reads it instantly and starts organizing reality around that signal. But when you say you want abundance while hoarding pennies and complaining about prices, that's static. The field doesn't know which station you're on. Coherence isn't about being perfect. It's about alignment. You pick one intention for the day and translate it into 3 layers: a feeling, a phrase, and an action. Let's say abundance. You wake up, feel grateful for what's already here. You say out loud, "I can contribute value today." Then you do one act that embodies it. Maybe you tip extra, donate $10, or share a resource freely. Same frequency, 3 expressions. That's a clear signal. Here's where I got it wrong for years. I meditated on peace, visualized calm, talked about alignment, then stayed up until 2 a.m. scrolling, skipped meals, and double-booked myself into exhaustion. My words said expansion, but my schedule screamed scarcity. The universe didn't respond because I wasn't coherent. The day I aligned my calendar with my values, synced my money habits with my intentions, and made my daily language match my desired reality, the right invitations started arriving. Not because I deserved them more, because the signal finally made sense. The trap is spiritual ego. You can sound elevated in conversations, post inspiring quotes, meditate for an hour, and still live in reactive loops the rest of the day. Coherence isn't performed, it's embodied. It shows up in how you answer emails, the time you go to bed, whether you say yes when your body says no, how you spend money when no one's watching. The quantum field doesn't read your intentions, it reads your frequency. And your frequency is the sum of your micro choices, not your big declarations. Try this tomorrow. Choose one word. Peace, clarity, abundance, trust. Whatever feels true. Then find 3 ways to express it before noon. 1 emotional. Feel it in your chest for 30 seconds. 1 verbal. Say a sentence out loud that embodies it. 1 physical. Take 1 action, even tiny, that matches it. Don't perform it for others. Do it for the field. Watch how your day reorganizes when the signal is consistent. When thought, feeling, and action resonate on the same frequency, reality stops resisting you. But coherence alone isn't enough. There's a difference between broadcasting a signal and surfing the wave that signal creates. What comes next changes everything about how you create without burning out. You've been taught to push, grind, force. That's not creation. That's reaction. When you're in coherence, you stop pushing the river and start riding it. Think about surfing. You don't shove the ocean into making a wave. You feel the swell, position yourself, and let the water carry you. That's what happens when you shift from trying to manifest to becoming the frequency of what you want. The quantum field responds to what you are, not what you chase. Here's the practice. 3 steps every morning, takes less than 10 minutes total. Step 1. 2 minutes of intentional breathing, slow and deep until your chest softens. Step 2. Speak your anchor phrase out loud, something simple like, "I move from clarity," or "I create from rest." Step 3. 1 tiny action in the next 5 minutes that matches that state. Maybe it's tidying 1 surface, sending 1 honest message, drinking water slowly. Doesn't matter what it is. What matters is it's coherent with the frequency you just tuned into. I used to wake up asking, how do I make this happen? What do I need to do? Who do I need to convince? Exhausting. One morning I switched the question. What's the next coherent gesture? I stopped trying to figure out the whole path. I just felt into my body, asked what aligned, and did that one thing. A text to someone, a walk, a no to a draining meeting. Within 2 weeks, answers started finding me. Opportunities I didn't apply for, conversations I didn't initiate. I wasn't working less, I was working from a different frequency, and reality met me there. Here's your body's signal that you're in flow. Lightness in your chest after a decision, even if the task itself is challenging. When you choose from coherence, There's a quiet yes underneath the action. No clenching, no second-guessing loop, no need to convince yourself. That ease. That's resonance. You're not fighting the field anymore, you're collaborating with it. And the field has more intelligence than your overthinking mind ever will. Stop asking how. Start asking what feels coherent right now. The universe doesn't reward effort, it responds to frequency. When you operate from alignment instead of anxiety, from clarity instead of control, creation becomes natural. You're no longer pulling reality toward you. You're emitting the signal, and reality rearranges itself to match. Effortless doesn't mean passive. It means synchronized. And synchronicity is just coherence made visible. Once you're emitting clearly, the quantum field starts sending confirmations. Not subtle hints you have to decode with a full moon ritual. Actual, physical proof that you've shifted dimensions. The signs are so specific, you'll wonder how you ever missed them before. When you shift dimensions, the universe doesn't send a certificate. It sends synchronicity. Repeated numbers on clocks, license plates, receipts, 11-11-333 sequences you can't unsee. The same phrase shows up in 3 different places within 48 hours. A podcast, a conversation, a book you randomly opened. Someone you were just thinking about texts you out of nowhere. These aren't coincidences, they're feedback. The quantum field confirming you're locked into a new frequency. But it's not just mystical signs. Physical reality shifts. Doors that were closed suddenly open without you pushing harder. Someone who ignored you for months responds warmly. A deadline extends without you asking. Traffic clears in ways that don't make sense. You find something important you thought was lost right when you need it. The environment starts cooperating. That's not luck. That's resonance. You change the signal. The field reorganized the players. The clearest confirmation? Internal. Your body feels different. There's a baseline peace you can't explain. Even when circumstances aren't perfect yet. You're less rushed. Decisions come faster and clearer. The fear of missing out fades. You stop checking your phone every 5 minutes because you trust the right things will find you. That calm isn't apathy. It's coherence. You're no longer vibrating at the frequency of lack, so you stop scanning for threats. Here's a quick checklist I use. If 3 of these show up within 72 hours, I know the shift is real. 1. My body feels lighter, especially my chest and shoulders. 2. I make decisions without the old loop of doubt. 3. I see the same symbol, word, or number at least 3 times in unrelated contexts. 4. External resistance drops. People collaborate instead of blocking. Timing works in my favor. Small miracles stack up. If all 4 hit, I move forward with certainty. That's my green light from the field. I'll give you a real one. 3 days in a row I saw the same phrase. Trust the timing. Saw it on a coffee shop chalkboard. Heard it in a YouTube video I didn't plan to watch. A friend texted it to me word for word without context. I was deciding whether to wait on a project or push it through. I took it as confirmation, waited 1 more week, and in that week, the exact partnership I needed appeared. No force, no hustle, just alignment. The universe wasn't being poetic. It was being precise. You've been asking for proof. The proof is already here. You just needed to know what you're looking for. And now that you do, you'll start seeing it everywhere. Not because it's new, but because you finally match the frequency where it's visible. But let me bring all of this together for you because knowing the signs is one thing. Living from this place every single day? That's where the real transformation lives. You've seen the map, the loop, the gap, the compression, the coherence. Now you know. When resistance stops, peace becomes your baseline. Action flows from fullness, not fear. Reality responds like a symphony when your frequency holds steady. The universe wasn't ignoring you before. You were broadcasting static. Now the signal is clear. Here's your protocol for the next 7 days. Choose 1 micro-act as your silent declaration. Clean out 1 drawer. Walk 15 minutes without your phone. Write 3 sentences about what you accomplished today. Say 1 clear no to something that drains you. Sleep 30 minutes earlier than usual. Just 1. Let it be your anchor. Watch how the field reorganizes around that single coherent choice. Now I want to hear from you. During your day-to-day, notice one body signal of alignment, that chest expansion, that quiet yes. Then come back and comment. What synchronicity did you notice? What sign confirmed you're shifting? Your awareness strengthens the frequency. Your testimony becomes proof for someone else who's doubting. If this resonated, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel and activate the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Because observing is just the beginning. The next video reveals how you stop being the observer and become the creator, with a 4-step protocol that collapses timelines. The moment you stop being the observer, you become the creator. I'll see you there.